I began to realize how ideological this, that actually when I'm dealing with academics, with archaeologists or professional skeptics of any kind, I'm dealing with people who already have an ideological position. And that ideological position is confronted by the position I take. So in an ideological war, what you try to do is to destroy your opponent in any way, fair or foul. And it's helped me to understand that there is an ideological war over our past.
True world order. True world order. True world order. True world order.
The time has come, be prepared.
True world order. True world order.
We draw reality.
Out of these troubled times, our fifth objective, a new world order.
It's in the air.
True world order. Are you ready? True world order.
We draw reality everywhere.
As I've told you before, because I love it so much, they also created the Great Seal of the United States. And that Great Seal of the United States has on it, Novus Order Seclorum, a new order for the centuries, for the ages, forever.
The True World Order.
The Eye of Sahara. The Eye of Sahara, it's in Africa and it's in like the west of the Sahara Desert. You can see it's like the target practicing mark, like concentric circle. Yeah, and if you, I don't know if it was the continental drift or anything, but Africa was actually underneath water. A lot of parts, very huge mass of Africa had water in it. And they say that the Eye of Sahara once had water in it. And just like Machu Picchu, and the levels of the water changed, and the water came southwards and sidewards, and there was nothing but sand and desert. So it sort of killed them. Or they dispersed into the general public. They moved into Egypt and other habitable parts of Africa. There's a video on YouTube that actually explains how the Eye of the Sahara can actually be the Atlantis. It wasn't human-made design, if you think so. They just made their habitations on these mountains.
The Anunnaki, or the Jinn, the Watchers, Nephilim.
We boosted our evolution, I believe. I wouldn't put names to them. There is a part where the human evolution goes up like a spike. You can't just evolve yourself without any exterior help. We had this concept of gods. In every culture there is a concept of God. The perspective of heavens or the judgment of what heaven is can change very little. I won't be racist about this, but if you suddenly take a very poor extravagances are, pick them up and suddenly keep them in a position where they're getting everything, they'll think that this is it.
On why we were created.
For us to leave an essence in this universe, to know what is good and what is bad. Once we get there, they will certainly reunite. That's what you would do. Say you are breeding a bunch of, let's say, guinea pigs. You are breeding a guinea pig and you are putting them in certain positions where those positions will actually get a very important role in their series of evolution. It will help them evolve in a very different way. They are evolving in different manner. And there are several other Earth-like planets which they are breeding, and that is our purpose. And then go on to a level where we can actually reunite with our faith.
The Babylon Brotherhood.
It's a man's work done by us. When the supposed gods of ours created or at least jump-started us, they didn't think of these things. They didn't have this in mind. But this is all our doing. These conspiracies, and it's just keeping us far away from them. Them being the persons who made who we are. My views can be quite contradicting. Good and bad changes with perspective. That's what I will say. So what they are doing might sound a bit bad. That's just our opinion. In the grand scheme, these small bad things might not count at all. For there to be good, there has to be bad. You don't know what bad is, there can be no good. Like contrast, there has to be something in contrast.
From the book of Ezekiel.
So now it came to pass in the 30th day, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river of Shebar, that the heavens were opened, and I saw visions of God. In the 5th day of the month, which was the 5th year of the king Jehoiachin's captivity, the word of the Lord came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, son of Buzi, in the land of Shadlan, by the river Shebar, and the hand of Lord was there upon him. And I looked, and behold, the whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. And this was their appearance. They had likeness of a man. And every one had 4 faces. and everyone had 4 wings. And their feet were straight feet, with the sole of their feet was like the sole of a cow's hoof. They were wearing shoes. And they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. And they had the hands of a man under their wing on their 4 sides. And they 4 had their faces on their wings. Their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went, and they went on straight forward. Like this goes on, and the description about how Ezekiel was taken on by the higher species.
The Drew World Order.
All right, let me get this straight. You are taking orders from a man who is sawing redwood trees down, all right, saying he's making paper for the people. While you're taking those orders, you're letting a porcupine sniff your taint, and I'm supposed to listen to you? That is not the point, sir. But yes, that's what's happening. I think you've all lost your goddamn minds, all right?
The Drew World Order.
Because Africa was quite a bit changed after the continental drift. And the parts that were submerged under the water came up, and the parts that were not went up higher, and that sort of drained the sources of water from those lands. And when the continental drift happens, not a lot of people are alive. A huge chunk of population just goes away from the drift. And not a lot of people can actually live from that kind of a cataclysm.
On the peoples that were trying to escape such cataclysms.
Atlanteans are living among us. They adapted to the climates along with us, and they were like us, maybe a bit more intelligent. They migrated to other lands, and they're scattered all over the planet.
So you're saying that these peoples of these civilizations are still among us?
Yeah. Atlantis was just like England or like India. It was just like that, nothing special. Just they were a bit more intelligent than us, but a little bit more mature. This species is going through the stage where if they find out about our existence, it can actually be bad for us. So every species has this stage. Like when they're evolving, there is this part of discovery, and then there is this part of settlement. We are still in this part of discovery, and we'll keep on discovering stuff. And in these stages of discovery, we will keep on hampering the things that we are discovering. Like we are discovering things about the environment, and we are doing bad to it. And we are discovering about animal health and animal psychology, and we are doing bad to the animal health and psychology. So we'll keep on improving, and we'll keep on hampering, and that's what evolution is. We keep on learning by our own mistakes. We have 100-year-olds living among us right now. There are old people who were born 100 years ago, and they still are, and they say that environment and the weathers have changed drastically in the 100 years of their life, as far as they can remember. So and our generation is also going to have people who will live for the next 100 years, and they might say the same thing, that the weather was already bad and it's got drastically bad. Until we find something, or unless we, improve our whereabouts, it's going to be getting much worse. Like, I have to learn, and I have to learn from my mistakes. I actually take the broader point of view and mix it up with my, daily curriculum, and that sort of helps. If you see what humans have done till date, you'll actually find a pattern to it. They learn, destroy, and then build, and then again learn. That's how they go on. I keep on learning, and there will be a point where I fuck up, and then I fall down, and then again I learn from my mistakes and come to a certain level, and I keep on learning. And execution is also in that stage, like in that whole procedure. In the forthcoming, the upcoming situation, something that I learned 5 minutes ago, I'll try to apply that on something that's coming 5 minutes after. And I know that there's a possibility that I fail. So if I fail, then I learn from the failure, and so what I strictly follow is that we should always think about the next floor and not about the terrace. If you are building a building, like if you are creating a building structure, that's like a skyscraper. If you think about how the terrace is going to look, how the helipad area or, the highest floor is going to look, the building is going to fucking crash. That's what happens every time. You have to always think about the next floor, like how the next floor is affecting the topmost floor. You have to go on with steps and not by just jumping and leaping to 4 or 5 floors at a time. And there's going to be, bad spots in the middle. And that's going to make the building more unstable. And they are just like failures. Failures are the ones that you make, and adversities are the ones that the nature makes, or the universe makes, in order for you to learn from the universe. That's adversity for you. Let's consider a very simple situation where you are instructed to study for an upcoming examination. So you do not study, and you fail the examination. And that is failure. But let's say you are studying, and suddenly the day when you are about to go to the examination hall, the whole planet is struck by a solar flare, and the technology goes off, and everyone is homesick. That is adversity.
On love and how love changes as we age.
For love. Love is a very complex thing, and it changes as you grow old. The concept of love. A child love is just something that will last long. Zazzy, if I'm putting that correct, keep on growing older. Love is more about support and endurance. Love is more about attraction. And then as you keep on growing older, the concepts of love keep on changing. I mean, like chemicals in our brain surely does play a vital role because you don't feel any sort of physical or mental attraction towards any random person, do you? And when you are like vibing very well, you see that the hormones released by your brain in the sequence in which you are talking to that person is different from the sequence that releases when you are talking to some other person. Yeah, when you're vibing with a person, your brain acts differently than when you're vibing with a person who you really like, then your brain acts differently from any other person. Let's compare it to, let's say, your wife, and you're talking to another woman. You won't behave the way you behave to your wife, like the way you behave to that woman. It will be different. You will be more lenient and more attracting and more lovable towards your wife than you would be to any other woman. So when you love a person, your brain, your body and your mind and your whole sets of hormones and chemicals are in the favor of that person. Meditation means you are one with everything else. Everything that you can see, everything that you can feel, everything that you know exists is a part of you. And getting your brain in that process of thinking where you know that everything that you see or feel or know exists is your part. But I'd say about patience. Patience is something that I got from my blood. My parents are very, very patient about things and they have a lot of patience. They're edges, but they are still very patient. And I think that these things, there is some points for inheritance. When you know that you are making your noise, you're already chill. Vibe into that place and you know that you are the person who is making the noise and you start feeling better. Because you know that I'm the one who's making noise. So we have these texts. It's not actually religious text, but it's more like about knowing ourselves. It's called the Upanishads. Yeah, so these are kind of the things that let us know who we really are. And there is a part in it that says that if you know that you exist in everything else, you won't hate. Hatred comes from difference. Once you know that you are not different from anything else, you don't hate it. There are people who hate someone from another caste. Once you know that you are that person, and after knowing that, you won't hate that. You would love yourself just as much as you love that person, because you are that person. When we exit this film, I haven't gone through that experience yet, so I don't know that much. There is also an explanation to this question in the books that I just told you about, just a few times ago. There are hundreds of books in this single title, okay? So it's called Upanishads and it's got hundreds of books in it. You'll see and you'll hear about so many things. And you have that on YouTube and they explain it in very simple language. It'll be easy for you to understand. So they say that after the human dies, it's like changing a new clothes and the soul of that person goes away to another body and just changes the clothes. That's what happens after you die. You just change your clothes. The clothes is your body. Like the person to whom I'm speaking right now is the soul. It is not the shell. Your ears, the vibrations in your brain is actually sending this information to your soul. And I'm talking to that person right now. Yeah, so in order to think about it, you can't actually think about it. Where you're going to go, where you're destined to go after you die. You can't because this is your shell and the person who's thinking right now is the shell and not the soul. The soul cannot think. The body is inherited by our parents. The thing that exists immortally, like the immortal thing that exists in me, is universal and it's same as it is in you. There is no difference. So once you know yourself, and by self I mean the soul, because self is called Atma and Atma means soul. Atma, so A-A-T-M-A. Atma means soul. Atma means self actually, if you translate it in English. Yourself is your soul. Are you smoking a joint or something? Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you something. Okay. So, this is a very amazing thing. Your mind's gonna get blown away even more. The Plato gave the dimension of the concentric rings of Atlantis. Plato actually gave the diameter of the concentric rings, like the outermost ring. Plato actually gave them the measurement of it, and it was in the measurement system of that time. Once you convert that measuring system into our ways, the eye of the Sahara's the outermost shell, the outermost ring is the same diameter as that it was mentioned by Plato. Like the diameters, Plato even said that this is the diameter of the outermost ring. He explained the diameter into the in the measuring systems of that time. So it's not same as it is now. So once you convert that into our measuring systems, it is the same. The diameter is the same. Yeah, he was there. Like when he was there, a huge part of Africa was underneath water, submerged. And once Plato died, I guess, I don't remember the date when he died. After that, the water level went down a lot. and Atlantis was above water and not beneath water. So their primary source of irrigation and all was cut off. The plants died and they had to migrate somewhere else. And they, scattered their populations all around the world. When it is people like you who are more knowledge than it is about the humor, I don't hesitate. So how many languages do you speak? Just one? That's the biggest minus point for another one. Any language that you want, any language, no matter how easy. If it's created like in recent times, like the High Valyrian shit, you are spoken in Game of Thrones, you can learn that. Just learn another language. Because why I tell this thing to everybody else? Because when you learn another language, you are perceiving a different reality. Like the perception reality is actually changed when you learn another language. When I say apple, what do you see in your mind? You see a red apple, right? When I say manzana, what do you see? Manzana. It's apple in Spanish. But when we say manzana, we don't know it because we haven't learned it that way. So the Spanish people from the beginning started perceiving the reality like that they frame the word manzana to suit the formations of an apple. So they are perceiving it different than we are. So once you're learning it, you're actually gaining all the experience they had in these thousands of years. You're actually carrying the loads at least 10 million years. Drew, I'm gonna sign out now.